And I rise today to move my motion 619 on the use of whips in horse racing. President, gambling is the child of avarice, the brother of iniquity and the father of mischief, according to George Washington. And nothing has changed in the last 200 years. The most high-profile and obvious victims of the gambling industry are racehorses. Overbred, trained and raced to within an inch of their lives, and sometimes to their deaths. Raced too young, raced too old, forced to jump hurdles over enormous distances, fed diets that ensure almost all of them suffer from gastric ulcers. And when their working life is finished, successful or not, the reward is a bullet before being served up as pet food, what the industry would call wastage. Today, I want to focus on one particular cruelty in horse racing, arguably the most public display of animal cruelty in the country: whips. Horses are beaten on race days by whipping their flanks, pushing them beyond their limits in fear of the pain it causes. And make no mistake, no matter what the industry will say, it does cause pain. The Catalyst program on the ABC showed that to be the case in stark, horrifying detail. In fact, horses' nerve endings, their pain receptors, are extraordinarily numerous and close to the surface of their skin at the very spot they are whipped. Horse skin is thinner than human skin and very sensitive to pain. Beating an animal is banned under the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act in this state. In any other setting, the cruelty could rightly see someone punished. But in a perverse tug of the forelock to the powerful, enormously rich racing crowd, an exemption has been carved out. I want to take a moment to call out another falsehood, that the whip is used sparingly. Current whip rules allow horses to be struck up to 5 times during a race, up until the final 100 metres, where the use of the whip is unlimited. I've watched time and again as jockeys lose their patience, let their anger come to the surface and whip their horses like their lives depended on it. Of course, jockeys who breach whipping rules get a second chance. Those who exceed 5 strikes during a race can have their fine overturned if they then abstain from whipping consecutively in the final 100 metres of that race. Whether they are over-whipped at the start, middle or end of a race, the outcome for horses is the same, and a paltry fine won't deter anyone. In Australia's most high-profile race, the Melbourne Cup, the whip rules are broken with abandon, and horses brought here from their homes in other countries are also beaten without worry or concern. Jockeys have been fined for over-whipping in the last 2 Melbourne Cups. And why would they worry? The jockeys and the owners won't lose prize money if they win, and any potential fine is a drop in the ocean by comparison. So who cares if we belt the living daylights out of the old nag, eh? I do. So do an enormous number of people, huge now, but growing ever larger, sick and tired of seeing horses whipped. A study in 2018 showed that at least 3/4 of surveyed Australians objected to the use of the whip. 87% of surveyed racing punters said they would continue to participate if the rules were changed to ban the whip. They would stay. The RSPCA is unequivocal in their support of a ban on the whip. It is also my position that we must ban the whip, as Norway has done 35 years ago. Yes, Norway banned the whip in 1986. Yet here we are in 2021 with no action on the whip, despite mounting public opposition. Since Norway banned the whip, there have been no safety repercussions for jockeys, none, and far fewer serious injuries to horses. Hands and heels racing is now a fixture in the British racing calendar. Whip-free racing is the way forward if racing must continue. My motion today does not go as far as I would like, but I know exactly the power, the might of the industry that I am up against. So my motion tries to move them slowly but surely towards dropping this cruel rubbing of salt into the wound. I sincerely hope that you can all support this motion, that even those amongst you that are fans of horse racing, that you can see that it is beyond time to ban the whip, that you can truly respect an animal that many of us hold such deep affection for. And if you're on the fence, I want you to imagine getting up close to one of those beautiful, magnificent animals, looking them in the eye, holding their gaze, and then striking them as painfully hard as you can. Could you betray their trust? Because that is what is happening. Racing Victoria declared national whip rules as inappropriate a year ago. Despite seeking national action on whip reform, they can't go it alone. Rules in horse racing are governed by the national body, Racing Australia. So while Victoria may want to stop using the whip, pressure from other states makes it very difficult to bring reform. Racing New South Wales is one of the racing bodies least open to change. So my Animal Justice Party colleagues in the New South Wales Parliament will be calling for the same change in their state. I make no secret of the fact that I am no fan of horse racing in any form, but I accept that it will be here for my lifetime, so on this issue I must remain practical. This is a change that will be a practical improvement in the quality of life for the thousands of racehorses in this state. And I hope you, my colleagues from all sides, will show compassion today and support this motion.